Wish you could get better sleep?
Well, Angela Kelly is getting some advice from the Bellin Sleep Clinic in Green Bay this morning. She joins us now with more. Hi, Ange.
Hey, good morning, Pete and Rachel. Good morning, everybody. Well, this morning we're live at the Bellin Sleep Clinic here in Green Bay. We're learning about different sleep disorders and getting tips on getting a better night's sleep in general. But in order to do this story, I wanted to get a first-hand account of what it's like to spend the night in a sleep clinic. I got here last week, Thursday night, around 7 o'clock, about the time I would normally go to bed. And the first thing they did was show me my room. Take a look.
All right, Angela, this is your room. On the wall there, we have the temperature. You can adjust that to whatever you're comfortable with. And then we have the microphone up here, and the camera is right up there. Those will be off until we start your study. So if you need anything from me, you're just going to use the red button here. This also works the TV, the channels, and the volume is on the side here. If you want to use the phone at all, just dial 9 to get out, and then your bathroom is right there. What I need you to do is just fill out the sheet here and then put your pajamas on, and I'll be back in to get you all set up with the wires. Would you like anything to drink at all?
I think I'm good.
Okay, sounds good.
Then it was time to get me all hooked up with all sorts of wires, and as you watch this video, I'm going to have Dr. Mark Reinke, a sleep specialist, tell us what all those wires mean and why it's needed.
The wires that Angela was hooked up monitor everything from her brain waves to her heart activity to the amount of airflow that's going through her nose, also the amount of respiratory effort or the amount of effort that she makes breathing. She has belts on her abdomen, her stomach, her chest, and also to monitor her leg movements. And we also monitor the amount of oxygen in her blood.
And you're able to take the readings from those different electrodes back in a control room, and you can watch to see what's happening.
Exactly. We use all that data, we combine it, and then use it to evaluate the sleep and get a good idea of how well you're sleeping and what type of sleep you're getting.
All right, and that whole process took about 45 minutes. The tech Crystal there was using glue to put things on my scalp. I mean, literally everywhere. It took 45 minutes, and it's something that anybody who would stay here would go through. So I was ready for bed, and take a look at this. So here we are. I'm hooked up to about 30 different electrodes. You can see them all plugged in here to this little device. I've got electrodes to my legs. I've got monitors hooked up around my waist and my chest, obviously all over my face. I've even got this little ET finger. What's going to happen now is I'm going to be going to sleep, and as we told you earlier, this room is hooked up with cameras and microphones, and the staff will be in the back room the whole night monitoring me, watching and waiting to see what happens. So, until the morning, we'll see y'all later. Good night. So how did it go? Well, we've got it pulled up on the monitor here. They actually keep the recording of your night's sleep. There I am. As I kind of fast forward it, you can see me tossing and turning throughout the night. Kind of weird to watch yourself sleep. But Dr. Mark Reinke is here, and why don't you kind of bring us through the results of what I went through? I've got a chart you can pull up.
Sure, Angela. What we have here is we're going to take a look at overall your sleep. And this is all the different waveforms. These are all the wires that you had hooked up to you. And these are your brain waves. This is the waveforms that were on your chest, on your stomach, and also in your nose. What we see here is this is what's called a hypnogram. All that means is that's the how your sleep goes from start to finish. We see here you started sleep approximately around 9:30 and you ended around 4:30 at night. Your sleep is in these different bars. These are the different stages of sleep. We start here in when you fall asleep right around 9:30, and you're in this light wave of sleep, what we call stage 1. You then go into this yellow bar, which is stage 2. That's a deeper stage. And then this purple bar right here is stage 3. That is where you get a good night's sleep. As you can see from the sleep stages, you go from one stage to another, and that's very common throughout the night. And you're going from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3, back into stage 2. What we see down here later in the evening, probably around 2:30 in the morning, is you get into your stage, what we call rapid eye movement sleep. This is the sleep stage where you dream. And so overall, this is an excellent view of your sleep. You got a very good sleep, minimal awakenings, and overall a pretty normal exam.
Okay, good. So I was normal.
Yes.
But I bet you guys are brimming with questions.
Well, he answered a few of them,
Yeah, I just
too.
can't understand how you really got, you were able to sleep with all that stuff on you. It didn't bother you at all?
Even the one in your nose, that didn't bother you?
Yeah. That's the most common question that I got, because I've been on Facebook throughout the last couple of days telling people that we're doing this story. And when you see the pictures of me all hooked up like that, one viewer described it as you're wired up like a Christmas tree. How do you sleep that way? I honestly, from my own experience, I slept well. However, Dr. Reinke, is there a question in that some people might be really weirded out by all that stuff? So how could you get an accurate picture of their sleep when you're putting them in a completely abnormal situation?
Sure. It's a very common concern on people that they don't think they'll be able to get a good night's sleep. Surprisingly, at least I'd say 3/4 of the patients get at least as well a sleep as they usually get at home, and sometimes better. The reason that they may get even better sleep here is it's a relatively quiet environment. They've got the bed to themselves. There aren't any interruptions from any bed partners or kids or pets. So overall, we don't find it that the sleep, evaluating the sleep here in the clinic compromises the amount of sleep or the type of sleep that they get.
Okay. So yeah, even though I was all wired up with all that stuff, I really genuinely did have a pretty good night's sleep, and none of it really bothered me.
I think, well, we're looking at you tossing and turning here, but that's sped up, of course. What's it like for you, Ange, watching yourself sleeping like this?
It's kind of eerie in a way.
And the thought that everybody else is watching you sleep at the same time.
Exactly, and you do sort of, I did have a couple moments where I would wake up and just for a second think, oh, that's right, I'm in the sleep clinic. But then I would just fall right back asleep. I asked the nurses the next morning, did I do anything embarrassing? Did I snore? And supposedly I was pretty normal. I had a lot of leg twitches, but nothing abnormal. But it is weird to watch me sleep.
Now, had you had any trouble with sleep before this, or did you just do this for the study?
No, I just did this. I just did this for this study, just to get a first-hand account of what it's like to sleep in a sleep clinic. And fortunately for me, nothing's wrong with me. But a lot of people leave here with something wrong. They find out they have sleep apnea or another common sleep disorder, and that's exactly what we're going to address in our next segment.
Oh, good, because I heard it's very, very common. So I'd like to find out what the doctors there have to say about that. Angela, thank you so much for sharing that experience with us.
Sure.